and was only suitable for people aged 18 or over, will almost certainly have an adult theme, and might well contain sex or violence, which are quite graphic. It may also contain explicit language, including sexual swear words. Thanks for listening.
But here's what his revelation comes to him. He's kind of got all this stuff like touching, wiping, mourning of the animals.
Not wiping, whipping.
Yeah. Also not touching.
I am dyslexic. I hope I'm not having like a stroke.
Do it live! Fuck it! Do it live!
And then atheists almost always become supporters of eugenics and abortion.
A swine is hungry for nuts. Jesus hates him too.
Satan is real.
Being a Satanist is an open declaration of revolt against counterproductive received wisdom and mindless rogue tradition.
Decapitate her head off.
We're done. You're done.
Obama!
Welcome to the Godless Rebelution. I'm Dan, and Matt's back.
I was going to say I'm Jeff Linville, but I didn't know what the hell you were doing with your intro.
I never know, man. I need to like come up with a standard thing that we do at the beginning of the show. All the other shows have a little intro to their show and what they do, and we're just like,
we don't want to be every other show, though.
Welcome, I'm Dan, and I gotta put more people in the studio with me. We're gonna talk about stuff. Ryan is here also.
Yes, I am.
Dressed in a satanic t-shirt.
And he's wearing his little feet gloves there.
Yep. I didn't feel like wearing socks.
And Ryan is dressed for the occasion because we are also very happy to have with us in studio Chalice Blythe from the Satanic Temple.
Hello.
Yay! And you are the chapter head here in Salt Lake City for the Satanic Temple, correct?
That's correct.
Yay, so what does that entail?
That entails, essentially, I am the person who reports to National Council and Executive Council. I'm like, I get things rolling. You know, I'm responsible for putting together all the
Stuff and junk.
I get stuff and junk together, and I order people around. So getting the chapter here, and then organizing and being accountable for all the activities that we do, and accountable for all the members that we have, and approving and submitting for approval all of the activities that we want to do, campaigns and stuff like that. So
very cool.
Yeah.
So we don't really have anything prepared for this evening. I wanted this to just kind of be a chit chat, hanging out with the chapter of the Satanic Temple tonight.
That's all good.
Seeing what you're up to lately.
I was gonna say you bought me beer, so I'm good. I'm good for a few hours.
Right on.
You lured me in.
So let's see. Over the last week, we had the Atheists of Utah Summer Solstice Party, which by all accounts was a big success. We had, I'd say between 70, 80 people, maybe a little bit more.
That's a lot.
That is a lot of people. I want to thank the gracious hosts who allowed us to hold our party there. That was very, very kind of them to have the party at their house and let us take over the place for the evening. Nice big home and beautiful backyard, and I think everybody had a good time.
Yeah.
Lots of fabulous swag was given away in our prize drawing, and Lillian won the fucking bucket of booze for the second time, man. There was a lot of shit in there. It was giant.
Well, with that many people.
Picture.
Yeah.
Jeez.
There was a whole lot of booze in there.
That's probably enough for at least one weekend.
Yes. And the puppy's doing very well.
Mm-hmm.
He's growing. So the night of the party, we had Tracy's sister and brother-in-law come over and babysit or puppy sit for us. And apparently the whole time they were here, they played with him nonstop. So Sunday, he was just like a wet noodle all day long. Like all he did was sleep, really, really lethargic. Tracy kept, she mentioned a few times, like, do you think he's okay? I'm kind of worried about him. Like, all he's done the whole day long is sleep. And I'm like, oh, he's fine. He's a growing puppy. Mm-hmm. They played with him a little bit last night, I'm sure. But apparently they just played with him like nonstop while we were gone. And so he didn't sleep much at all. And generally he'll like play for 10 or 15 minutes and then sleep for a few hours. But Yeah, it was all play all night long while we were gone. And
plus, no big deal. I mean, if he's not okay, you just take him to the vet.
Oh! Ouch!
Oh, man, I went real dark. Sorry, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Reliving very dark moments in Jan's more recent past.
Don't trigger him.
Probably way too soon.
Too soon.
No, that whole deal was rough, man.
Yeah.
Rough.
Was that a dog pun joke?
A little bit.
Okay.
Good job, Dad.
Thank you. But yeah, the new puppy he's awesome, man. One of his ears is already fully erect.
Oh.
Only one?
Yes.
Oh.
The other one is still kind of floppy. I'm sure that it will stand up anytime now, but he's really cute because one stands up all the way and the other one's kind of bent and crooked.
Like a Free Willy ear.
Yeah. And his little paws have different markings on them. Like the pads of his paws are black and white themselves. That's really fucking cute. He's super smart. I think he's smarter and more cuddly than Chaplin was.
They're both pretty cuddly.
Yeah. He's extra cuddly though, and just loves being around both Tracy and I. Like, he'll follow us all around the house. He'll plant himself right in between your feet whenever you're standing anywhere. Out in the yard if it's hot.
Which it is.
He uses my eclipse of the sun to keep himself in the shade. Like, if I move, he'll just like belly crawl back into the shade that my body's providing right next to me. He's just super fucking adorable and always wants to be with us and super cuddly. Yeah. He's very, very cute. And Matt is back from Arizona.
Yep.
Did not die in the heat.
Which we thought he might. Not just because
everyone
you're mad.
else is.
I was genuinely concerned about you because it was so fucking hot here, and I knew that it was going to be record-breaking heat around the area.
I don't know why it wasn't. I mean, it was still like 104 or whatever, but it wasn't 113 like it was supposed to be when we went in. So, plus there's a lot of water where we were once we got to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's that 40 miles of trekking around for 4 days.
Yeah. And then getting back up that 800 feet in the last mile.
So did you have to haul in all of your own shit, or did they have like Sherpas, or?
We had it helicoptered in.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, isn't that fancy? Mr. Fancy Pants and helicoptering in your supplies.
It's probably because at a certain tempo the donkeys
you
can't
can try all night, but you're never going to beat that vet joke. But you can go ahead and dig at me. That's fine. No, I mean, but it's better than making the mules do it. That's their whole life is just running up and down that canyon.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So what do the mules do if they don't haul in all of your gear?
Well,
if it's too hot, they don't let them. From what I had heard about some of those areas.
There's that, but then also the helicopter brings it to the village, which is still 2 or 3 miles from the campsite, and then the mules bring it all the way.
Oh, okay.
So they're only going 2 miles instead of 11 or whatever, 12.
Oh, okay. So the mules just walk with you for a big portion of the time, and then like the last bit they carry the stuff.
They just bring it whenever they get it, and they don't know whose is what. So they're just constantly bringing loads down. So you just go back and to the corral and check if your stuff's there, and when it is, you bring it to the campsite.
Oh, well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
and it was a good time.
It was good,
other than being lousy with fucking Mormons,
yeah,
even in
dude,
Arizona.
What the fuck, man? Utah Mormons.
Yeah,
yeah,
all decked out in their BYU gear.
Yep, and acting like assholes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that's all right.
That's terrible.
Tubing was fun though when you could get away from them.
Yeah,
except the rocks are like fucking. It's like rafting on a cheese grater sometimes, because it's the whole spring is full of lime, and so it's just depositing limestone into these like terraced pools, and so
terrorist pools.
Whoa!
Jesus.
Yeah. And so you gotta see it coming up and then get out before it declares jihad.
Yeah. Does Donald Trump know about this issue? He needs to get in there and get rid of these terrace pools.
I don't think he cares.
Can you hear them ululating even under the water?
What the fuck does that mean?
Never mind. You know what? Ululating is? The
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Why is it called that?
I don't know. It's
better than I mean, who would call it that?
I guess.
Were they lying?
No, I guess these natives don't do that.
And what did you do? Oh, you were working overtime.
I was
working.
Yeah, because you were supposed to come to the party.
We're working today.
And like an hour into the party, I'm like, where the fuck? Oh, actually, Chris came over and he's like, where's Ryan? Wasn't he coming to the party? I'm like, He made some kind of comment or post about he was excited to hang out with all of the heathens, but...
And that was a month ago.
Yeah.
But we get overtime like a week before or day of. And since overtime's going away, I'm like, I'll have to take and work some overtime because we're hiring new guys. Then no more overtime.
You won't be low man on the totem pole.
That all depends on how long they've been in the service for as well.
Oh, right. It's not just when they arrive at the place. It's it's
how long
overall
you've been
service,
in.
right?
Yep. So I'm really not that low. I mean, I've been in since 2002, so
14 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What's the average, or do you know?
I'm not sure what. Dugway is kind of a young crowd.
Yeah.
Mainly. It's pretty young there, so I'm probably average.
Yeah.
It's not like working at Hill where you still had I was there for the last Vietnam guys leaving.
The Vietnam
guys.
Gotta say Nam.
Nam. I mean, we still got some Gulf War guys at Dugway, but...
What the fuck does it have to do with Nam, Walter? So what have you done over the last week, Chalice?
I just recently got back from visiting executive over in the Massachusetts area.
It looks like you had a ton of fun.
I did. It was wonderful. It was a combination of myself and the two Arizona chapter heads, Michelle and Stu.
Stu and Michelle, right?
Stu and Michelle, and the chapter head for New York, Ash.
Yes.
And I also met the Boston chapter head, Travis, and they're all so wonderful, and we went and had a lot of fun for a few days.
Yes, I was online stalking you, looking at all your pictures, going,
Yeah.
"Oh man, that looks so fun."
It was, and we're actually, they're establishing a, national headquarters up there currently, so that'll happen fairly soon. So we got to, see where everything is going to be eventually, and it was pretty great, so.
I thought that's where the headquarters was.
They're setting up an actual place where there's an actual headquarters, so, everyone's.
Like a location.
Yeah, a location.
Not just like a P.O. box and.
Yeah.
We're based out of this area or whatever.
Exactly. So they'll actually have a place, and so they'll be announcing that sometime soon. And so everyone got to see it, and it was wonderful. It was very nice, and got to meet everybody at the top. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, it looked like you had a whole lot of fun out there.
It was pretty great.
Yeah?
Yeah. Got to see Lucian Greaves on the beach. That's what made the whole thing.
Was it warm at the beach?
It was. It was actually, we were expecting colder weather somewhere in the 70s, and for people in Arizona, that's bitter cold, but for us, that's perfect. But it ended up being in the 90s the whole time. It was wonderful. High 80s, low 90s. So it was perfect for the beach. So.
Yeah,
it's pretty great.
It looked like you had a whole lot of fun out there. Mm-hmm. So what else did you do while you were out there, though? I mean, you guys went to the beach.
To the beach, and then...
Yeah, we need more.
I want more details. Please let me live vicariously through you.
Lots of drunk. Lots of scotch. I didn't know I liked scotch, and I still don't like scotch, but you don't ever pass up the opportunity to drink scotch with Lucian Greaves. So
when I first started attempting to drink scotch, it seemed like it was like drinking cologne.
Yeah. It still tastes like that.
Yeah.
Only this one was a lot smokier, so it smelled like cologne on fire. It tasted like cologne on fire. But it wasn't bad, but at the end of the trip I gave him a better bottle that didn't taste as bad. So but yeah, no, it was really fun. And then they obviously, none of us had been there before, so we went to Salem for a day and did all the touristy shit, and no witch museum, because that's apparently just not even worth it. So we went around all the shops and saw they're totally monopolizing on the whole witch thing. So did a lot of that, bought some neat souvenirs, and just walked around, went to the oldest burial plot in the city. That was really neat, and we got some pretty fun pictures there. And
so how old is it? Do you remember?
16. I can look up. Let me look at my seer stone. I'll 16 something. 16.
I still love that joke. I'm going to use that like all the time now.
I just heard about that today. You know,
Oh, really?
So I subscribed to Ex-Mormon on Reddit, and all of a sudden I started seeing all these posts about rocks and seer stones and then like cell phones and seer stones. I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? And so I finally today saw Raw Story. They actually made they wrote an article about that, and so I was like, okay, I get it now. Yeah, I didn't get it. I thought everyone had lost their minds, but it makes sense now.
Well, they have lost their minds.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
1637. The burying point, 1637, the oldest burying ground in the city of Salem. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we saw that. It was great. And they had this area where, they had these stones that had the names of some of the witches that were, hanged for, their quote unquote crimes. And, it was just really, it was just a very, interesting, kind of a very powerful moment where you see this and, it just kind of hits you. And, the memorial was beautiful, and you could see there were some of the stones where people were like laying flowers and stuff like that in memoriam. So.
Just as an aside, I want to say how impressed I am that you used the word hanged instead of hung.
Yeah, they were hanged.
That makes me happy. Like my inner grammar Nazi's like, yes!
Yeah, he's the right word.
Good job.
Yeah, normally I don't sound so smart, so I think it's the beer.
It's the podcast. We all, none of us are really that intelligent in real life.
Well, and for anybody who may not be up to speed, what Chalice is referring to is, Dieter F. Uchtdorf's
the most amazing name ever.
Post
He
recently.
should be in like a Harry Potter book.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uchtdorf.
he was trying to explain away the whole bullshit of Joseph Smith using the seer stone in the hat by saying that, well, just like Joseph Smith had to use the stone and put his face into a hat to block out light, oftentimes when we look at our smartphones, even today, in bright sunlight, we can't see them very well, and so we have to give them shade or take them inside to be able to read them very well. Just total fucking nonsense.
I honestly think the problem is he doesn't know how to change the brightness on his cell phone.
Right. Or he's got a really terrible old cell phone.
Yeah.
Like, upgrade
Yeah.
that shit.
Because I can go outside with mine and see it just fine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use mine out golfing all the time in bright sunlight. I don't have
And
with sunglasses on.
And why would God create seer stones that are sucking the sunlight?
And
God suck in the sunlight.
God can't make a seer stone powerful enough to see in sunlight.
Yeah.
And he did a lot of translating in the evening or at night when
there's no sun.
Clearly he wouldn't need a fucking hat anyway.
But this all goes back like the same thing we were talking about with Noah's Ark. Why have the old ass man build the boat at all? Just do what you're gonna do. You're God. Same thing. Here's this fucking rock that I'm gonna transfer everything to, then transfer it from the rock to you. Just give me the goddamn thing, dude. Whatever you want it, put it in here and I'll write it down. I'm on your side already.
Don't even make me have to write it down. Just poof it into existence and I'll spread your fucking word, dude. That'll help everybody.
So stupid.
Why would I even have to spread the word? Just put it into the minds of all of the followers that you would like to start following you. Why do I have to start fucking convincing these people to do this shit?
Or how about never take it out in the first place?
Yeah.
Let's just skip the whole Earth thing.
Yeah.
all of it.
None of it makes any sense. I thought it was really funny though. Like when I made that post, I think I posted it on my timeline and in the Utah Atheists group. And it was funny, like all of these formerly Mormon people who were like, oh, they were so enraged, like, fuck Dieter F. Uchtdorf, like, I thought he was the cool one. Well, they weren't just,
that's what I was going to say.
They weren't just upset that, somebody had said that, but like, he was supposed to be the cool and hip one, and he's making these ridiculous apologetic nonsense answers and posts for things that really, that was what bothered a lot of people more than the content of the post was just that
who said it
was that it was him saying it. And I thought, well, that's kind of strange, but
not to mention that he'd be the first cool German since the Visigoths.
So tell us a little bit more about yourself. So how did you become the chapter head for the Satanic Temple?
I harassed Lucian Greaves for over a year to get a chapter here. It was, I first became involved with the Satanic Temple. I first heard about them via the Baphomet statue campaign, and, became a member, and then they started around the time the official discussion forum, which Dan, I know you're a member of. And that's how a lot of people met a lot of everybody else. It was a really good place to meet other Satanists, other like-minded individuals, members of TST, or even just allies. And we all got to know each other and, really establish, that camaraderie. And, I was just always like, hey, this shitty thing's happening in Utah. We could really use TST for that. Or, hey, this is going on. And, it was one of those things where I was like, I didn't set out to be the chapter head at all. I just wanted there to be some recognition that eventually we should get one here, because we have the people, we have the community, and, I feel like Utah deserves, TST, not only for the stuff that we do, the campaigns that we do, but just the community, we deserve to establish that and have, that minority voice have a place to, have it heard. So, so after over about a year and a half, I got a call, kind of had my interview, which was basically, why does Utah deserve a chapter? And then after that, it was like, hey, you have your chapter head. I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's awesome. Yeah. I'm going to go pee my pants. And then, yeah.
Oh shit. What have I gotten myself into now?
Is that how you
But now I got Lucian on speed dial.
Is that how I qualify? Pee my pants?
That's the first thing you have to do.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then you go meet Lucian, and then he teabags you in the face, and then
nice.
That's how, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I was not aware that was a requirement. But.
Yeah, well, you saw the pink mask, so that's it just kind of went from there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but then you get kicked out of those states.
or at least
that's why you do it in the South.
You're just encouraged not to ever go back.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least do it on the DL. Yeah.
Was that the wording on that one? He's just not encouraged to come back? Or there's a warrant for his arrest waiting for him?
We cordially invite you to never return to our state.
Yeah, we cordially invite you to fuck off. Yeah. No, I don't know if they ever did put a warrant out, because I think the sheriff, who was really all about doing that, ended up resigning or something over some scandal. So
resigned in disgrace.
Resigned in disgrace. At least that's the story I heard, or if I'm remembering it correctly, incorrectly, I apologize. But
I just know Lucian had joked about that at one point with us, and he wasn't sure. Like, he's like, I don't know if there's a warrant for my arrest. I just know I'm not allowed back there.
Yeah, well, you never know. Obviously, they're out. He lives outside their jurisdiction, so he'll probably never end up knowing. So that's fine.
No, and it's the deep South too. Who cares?
But another Phelps has to be buried at some point.
Fuck those people.
Yeah,
we care. They're great people too.
No, actually, you know what? I missed you guys last week. I just want to say that because I'm feeling extra roasty today. So I just
are you?
I don't know why.
You weren't able to get anything out of your system.
No, but I did. It felt like I was gone for like a month when I was driving up here. I'm like, oh man, I haven't seen these guys forever.
Yeah, you can tell. You can tell he was really, dying to get his roast on when he starts with the dead dog jokes.
Yeah. That was.
Sorry, man.
I'm gonna wear that one for a little bit.
Sorry, dude.
So you just bothered Lucian until.
Well, I bothered everybody, so it wasn't. Yeah, I didn't want to. It wasn't just him. He has a lot of people that bug him all the time. So it was really just kind of establishing myself in the community and, like, getting to know all the other established chapter heads and other people in there. So it was just one of those things where you become friends with people and you establish your legitimacy, and everyone knows that you're sincere. And
what's the goal of the Utah chapter here?
We definitely deserve to have that alternate voice, because we do live in quite the theocracy here. And so to fight those fights of the marginalized and to bring to light some of the, the issues that Utah faces, I think is very important. And I believe that we as the Satanic Temple can bring that to Utah. But even if we don't ever have these big campaigns like we do in, Missouri, and then Detroit has all of theirs. Even if we don't become these big names, or Arizona with their invocation, I would be happy just knowing that people who are members, people who are allies, they have that community here, and that we're all together and have that established, so that they have that group and they feel like they have a home. So I'd be happy with that as well.
I've only been able to attend one of the gatherings of the Salt Lake chapter of the Satanic Temple, and one of the things that you said has really it was kind of a life-changing or
really
very much view-altering thing for me. During your presentation, you mentioned that membership in the Satanic Temple is a privilege. It's not a right.
Yeah.
And that really changed my view of a lot of things that Atheists of Utah has to deal with and put up with. That
really?
Yeah, for the longest time I had this view of, okay, we want to attract and maintain and retain as many members as we possibly can, and, you know, try to appease everybody and make everybody happy and put up with all kinds of bullshit and get shit on all the time and deal with all this drama.
Yeah. And
you saying that was like this moment of clarity for me, and it seriously altered my view of a lot of things. Like, you're right. It's not a right for anybody to just choose to associate with our organization. You have no right to be a member of Atheists of Utah. It's a privilege. And we don't have to put up with bullshit from you for $25 fucking a year.
Yeah, we don't even charge a fee for membership either. So.
Yeah, and I mean, and it was like, I left there and had to tell everybody, like, oh my God, did you know? Did you know? Have you thought about this? Like,
did you know there's this crazy idea out there?
Oh my God. We don't have to don't have to treat everybody as they have a right to be here. Like, we can just say, no.
Yeah.
You're not a member. You don't get to demand certain things from us. Like, being able to associate with us is a privilege. We don't have to be subservient little shits.
No, being subservient little shits kind of defeats the purpose. Well, and that's why we have this established, you know, if you're either a member or an ally, and there's a reason we have these distinctions, is because you can be somebody who supports our cause, who supports, at least when we have our campaigns, like our national, even local campaigns, you can support the ideas and, you know, support what we're doing and not be a Satanist. You could be a hardcore Christian or a Muslim and still be like, you know what, I agree absolutely with what they're saying. So, you know,
I'm a secularist who believes in pluralism. And,
yeah, exactly. Somebody who believes in, you know, the things that we're doing, you know, as far as our activism is concerned, you know, we love our allies, we appreciate our allies, and they help spread the word, and they, you know, their support is very, very wanted, but, or appreciated. It's very appreciated. But to be a member of the Satanic Temple, I mean, I can't speak for every chapter. I'm only speaking for mine, but, you know, our chapter here, we have a very clear distinction of what makes you a member. It's not just, you know, agreeing to the tenets. I mean, you go online and you know, read the tenets, and essentially says you agree to these and you agree to, you know, not speak on behalf of TST as a whole. You only speak for yourself, blah, blah, blah. You know, you give your email address and that's it. And then, you know, people can go and get their card and stuff and pay $25 to get like a little certificate and stuff. But to be an active member is to be somebody who not only, you know, agrees with the tenets and who considers themselves a Satanist. You have to be an atheist to be a Satanist, but somebody who considers themselves, you know, a member, a true active member, somebody who is absolutely sincere in their belief that TST is the answer for them, or that who we are as the satanic community, who we are as the Satanic Temple is who they identify with. So, and one of the other parts I said in that presentation was that we come with the scarlet letter. And for active membership, it's one of those things where I had to learn the hard way. People who are afraid, people who don't understand who you are, they just hear the word Satan and they freak out. I mean, I receive death threats and rape threats constantly from people who just know that I'm associated, and they just, I had one person who, and I had to change how I do everything online after this, but they sent a screenshot of like the general like area of where my house was, and they told me that they were going to rape the Christ back into me.
Shit.
So when I say we come with a scarlet letter, it's one of those things where, you know,
really wanted you to feel that Christian love.
I did.
Yeah.
I felt it all inside me, believe me. So when we say we come with the scarlet letter, it's one of those things where it's just the association with Satanism. Just it does. People, if you're not out to your family, if you're not sure, if you don't want people knowing, that's absolutely fine. You absolutely have a place with us, but maybe as more of an ally or somebody who says, well, I signed up, I'm a member, but maybe you're just kind of an inactive, somebody who shows up to events or something like that, but doesn't really want to be associated. And that's perfectly fine as well. But to be a real member, to be an active member, that's kind of a risk that we take. People who are chapter heads, Lucian Greaves gets the most brunt of it. Jex Blackmore has gotten some of the worst messages that I have ever heard in my life.
She was on the national level with the CNN episode too, she probably got a little more attention with that than...
Well, and also with her Unmother project that she did as well. That was, I think...
Which I thought was really powerful of her to even...
To do. Yeah. It was, having my own experience. It was just reading that and seeing that as a woman. I mean, you don't even have to have an experience that correlates or has anything to do with what her experiences was, but to put a face and put almost like a normality to it, just like, this is what I experienced. This is and every other woman, everyday occurrence. And this is just the day to day. This is the experience. There's nothing shameful. There's nothing bad about what this is. This is my decision. And to kind of normalize it, to make it just like, oh, this is a thing to happen. Or, one day, oh, part of it came out in the Sears bathroom or, stuff like that. It was incredibly powerful. And, something that I think a lot of women need to read, or at least,
and for those who may not know, what was her Unmother project? So the
Unmother project was so Jex Blackmore, she is the co-spokesperson for the Satanic Temple. She's also the chapter head and director for the Detroit area. She found out she was pregnant, and it was an unwanted, unexpected, just like oh shit, like that was not wanted pregnancy. So she decided to blog, her abortion. So she had a medically induced one. So it was just a pill. It was just the pill that you take. So you take the one that gives you the chemical that actually, basically sterilizes you, or, just kind of kills the cells, whatever. And then you take the second one that induces your muscles to cramp, and then you expel it. And so what she did was she blogged the entire experiences. I mean, even there were some where she just said, I'm listening to this today, and this thing happened. I mean, it was, some of them are really powerful, some of them were really describing the experiences or the thoughts that she had going through. People asking her, well, how did you get pregnant? What position were you in? Like,
like
who was it?
Fucking
exactly.
Business.
So, just kind of getting that inside look of, when a woman makes that decision, the kind of shit that she has to put up with from other people. Like, you have to justify it, and you have to say, well, what kind of sex were you having? Do you deserve to have the abortion?
Were you drunk? Was this someone you cared about?
Yeah. Was this a one night stand? Yeah.
It's not a blog about a sex life. It's a blog about an abortion.
Yeah.
She can have whatever kind of sex life she wants.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things she reflected on afterwards was the fact that the most hate mail, the most threats she got were from men.
Oh.
Men saying that what she did was evil and that she was a terrible person.
I'm betting it was mainly religious.
I'm not sure. I mean, I know atheist people who are so vehemently against it that they'd feel the same way. So it's, it's not a religious thing. It's just, how
just
people view
an assholery thing.
Yeah. I'd say assholery. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that it's not strictly limited to religious views.
It's not, I don't think it is.
But I would say the overwhelming majority of people who are anti-choice they lean on the religious side for sure.
Well, that's one of those talking points they have fed to them.
Yeah.
But the Supreme Court also agrees with us on this point, though.
Yeah.
They should be allowed access to abortions. Crazy segue.
Yeah. Segue into what happened today at the Supreme Court, which was amazing and wonderful.
Yay!
So I just thought, since we're on that subject, and that's how we tend to kind of segue, we just go, wait, boom, news about that.
That was
well, the law.
That was more of a segue than we usually ever do.
Yeah.
Well,
good job.
But we always announce our segues after we do it, so we're still doing it correctly.
BT Dubs, this is the segue. Yeah.
But today the Supreme Court ruled in favor basically ruled that Texas's the way they're going about their abortion laws is unconstitutional.
Yeah, the way that they had attempted to
because
limit
you had to have
the number of clinics or places that could provide abortion had to follow all of these standards about having
doctors
like
in
8 foot wide fucking hallways.
Yeah.
They basically had to have a hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they were required, so it's really, so it's all in the guise of, protecting women's health, and it's all about women's health, but it's really not, it's just about making it as difficult as possible. So the restrictions they were putting had a lot to do with, basically making it into a surgical center. So it's not in having, doctors have ER admitting privileges, to the local or the nearby hospital. Which are completely unnecessary. I mean, a lot of
anybody can wander into the emergency room.
Anybody. Well, it has nothing to do with that. It's just, it has everything to do with the fact that when you're talking about these abortions that are happening, there's so little risk involved. I mean,
like we just talked about, like most of them are done with a pill.
Yeah, most of them are like pill induced, and then even the even the more surgically invasive ones are very, like, the risks are so super low. I mean, you may get infections and stuff like that. There may be a chance of perforating the uterus, but the risks are so low that if that were to happen, they know what to do and they can get you there. So it was completely unnecessary, and they obviously did it for reasons just to restrict women's access. So it had nothing to do with, we've seen an up spike in women's deaths resulting in these abortion procedures. No. It was,
let's find ways to shut these places down.
Yeah, the complications are so small and so rare that
the problem is all these like middle-aged people that are trying to pass these laws are thinking about their own kids. So they're like, she's going to go in there and get cut open, and they're going to pull my 17-year-old Tyler out of her, and I want him to live.
Yeah.
Yeah,
do you know what I'm saying?
It's about
it's restricting women is one thing, but they always talk about it's murder, their babies, all these other words that aren't true. That's not what's going
murder.
On.
It's a fetus.
It's not even that.
It's most of the time it's still a clump of
zygote. Fetus, yeah, just a zygote that you couldn't tell that it was anything really other than a clump of cells.
Yeah. But more importantly, it's a woman's choice.
Right.
And, we just had, Governor Herbert sign into the law, the fetal pain.
The
fetal pain law.
To have anesthesia.
What a clusterfuck that is.
Well, that made national news as a laughing stock.
It is. Well, it is a laughing stock because seriously, you're going to make this law. They don't understand that any procedure like that so first of all, they don't consult any doctors that actually perform these procedures. These very rare circumstance, procedures.
Why would I need to? I can imagine what it's like.
Yeah, no, but you can't. You have a penis. You can't imagine what it's like. And, a lot of, we actually have this amazing local, OBGYN. Her name is, Leah Torres. She is my personal hero. She's the most amazing woman I have ever had the pleasure to, see online and, hear what she has to say. And she's been so vocal about this. And she, actually performs these, and she was actually on, what do you think, Utah? Are you guys familiar with that Bill Allred does?
No.
They're monthly discussions that they have down at the what is it, 50 West, or the Club 50 West. It's right where the X96 building is now.
Okay.
Broadway. It's like on Broadway.
Yeah.
And, so they had this segment where they were talking to, actual doctors that are relevant to the discussion, and also two of the lawmakers that, not only, I think one of them actually helped write it, and then they also signed it. They also approved it. And, she's on this episode, and you can find her on Twitter, and she has just been so adamant about, making people aware about how ridiculous this is, because essentially what the fetal pain law does is it's telling doctors how to provide care, because it's saying that you have to do this with this procedure, but we're not going to tell you how to do it. So from her perspective, it's like, okay, what does giving an anesthetic to a fetus mean? What am I supposed to give them? Because it's not specific. And I think one of the guy who was on it, and I'm spacing on his name, unfortunately, he was like, just, give the woman an aspirin, and that's considered giving them, covering the law or some stupid shit like that.
Well, had she been using the aspirin between her knees, then this wouldn't have happened in the first place.
So it's, so from her perspective, she's like, okay, we have this law, which was never, you never consulted with anybody who was, anybody who actually performs these, no medical doctors. You just pulled this out of your ass. And then, now if I have to do this procedure on one of my patients, I am fearing for the fact that I might get arrested because I didn't do it the right way, or it's ridiculous.
Or how much anesthesia do you need to give a pregnant woman to anesthetize the?
How much? What type?
Yeah, exactly.
How do you administer
and the
it?
law and the way the law was written, it doesn't cover that. And so, we're asking the lawmakers, what does this mean? And they don't have an answer because it was clearly.
Well, it's clearly in the bill. It said anesthetize the baby.
So what does that mean? Like,
Heroin.
it's ridiculous.
It would work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would.
So if you ever have the opportunity to follow her on Twitter, she's only on Twitter, but yeah, Leah Torres, she's incredible. And talk to her too. She's awesome.
Well, at least we know that. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, Herbert may not have consulted any relevant doctors about it, but he does know what Uchtdorf thinks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so,
yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he just signed it into law. He didn't have anything
right.
to do with the writing, I don't think. But still,
Right.
it's.
Yeah.
But he could have researched it and been like, "This is bullshit.
But
I'm not signing this into law."
He could have vetoed it, but we all know. He's all about pornography being a health risk to everybody.
But now he does have a good collection of Hustler.
He does, and I'm pretty jealous. I want that collection.
Wasn't it Larry Flint just decided that he was going to send those
every representative of the Utah
legislature?
Yep.
Yeah, and then they were all up in arms because some of them were sent to some people's houses because that's where they had their official
address
listed on the website. You sent this to our home where our children are. It's like that's where you had your place of business. Like, how's I supposed to know?
Like, whoops.
Oopsie poopsie.
I hadn't heard that part of it. That makes it even more delightful.
Yeah.
Well, if anybody wants a collection of Hustler, you just go to the state capitol on whatever day Hustler gets sent out on and go by the trash. I
head out to the trash bins.
I bet you won't.
Before the legislators get out there and sneak it out of there themselves, yeah.
Well, in order for them to shred them, they'd have to actually look at each page. Because you can't put a whole magazine in a shredder.
Not the same. Well, it depends on the shredder.
True. The one we have at work won't work.
Yeah, there are industrial shredders that are like these giant cyclone blender machines, like for banks and shit. That we actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because I've got some associates in town for work, and so we took a tour of the main building for my employer that's across the street from us. That is this giant, like, warehouse structure almost. It's fucking huge. And so we took a tour of the place, and it's, Ogden, Utah is one of the main mailing places. And so they do a ton of printing there and mailing, and then they receive a bunch of mail inbound. And, so one of the guys that's in town was talking about, his family member works for a bank, and the bank's print the wherever the bank has their printing done, they also send their garbage to them or their recyclables to them. And he went and toured their facility, and it's just like this giant room that keeps this wind whipping around as they shred these documents en masse, and then they're all whirled together so that there's no way that you could ever piece together all of the bits of information from one individual document, and it's kind of nifty.
So that means our bank
just imagine all
secure.
the nudes just mixed in with all that, PHI and stuff. Yeah.
all the dick pics they get
dick pics,
at the bank.
Trying to match the pink parts, the brown parts. And,
shit! This was a slip. Never mind. Wrong color pink.
This is a brown eye. Yeah. I totally lost track of what we were talking about.
Well, we were talking about abortion there, but we can get back to the other talks.
Okay.
More wholesome talks.
Have you lived in Utah your entire life?
Sort of. We moved around a lot, because my father's side of the family was from, was from a sheep farm in Salem, Oregon, and my mother's side was from here. So we actually kept moving back and forth. So we'd spend a year or two here, go back to Salem, spend a year or two there. So we kept going back and forth. But I've lived here consistently since I was about 14 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were not raised with any particular brand of religion?
Not any particular brand. I would say very New Testament, Jesus is love, Jesus is life kind of thing. So it wasn't really, we went to, the Salt Lake Christian Center mostly. It's down there on like 7th and 39th-ish down there. Just raised very generic Christian. So
did you attend services there?
Yeah.
It's just called the Christian Center?
Yeah, the Salt Lake, just the Salt Lake Christian Center is what it was called. And, it's still there. It's, still up and going. So we attended there. We went through these phases where we'd go to church for a while. My parents would be like super Christy for a little bit, and then they just stop, and they'd go back, and then they'd stop. So it was always just, whenever.
Generally Easter and Christmas time.
Not even that.
Or just as different turmoils.
Just kind of, just whatever, just whatever turmoils were going on in the family at the time. They'd really need that, that structure. So, yeah, they volunteered for Sunday school stuff and, went to all that, got baptized when I was 8, I believe. And
were you dunked or sprinkled?
Dunked.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Nearly drowned dunked.
Full on immersion.
Yep. I go all in. On everything. It's, so the way they had the stage set up where the pastor was, and then behind there was this big wall, but then they could open it up and there was like this little whirlpool hot tub there. So you just dunk people in your little white garments. Not the same kind of garments you guys are used to. We don't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I was never religious, so when I think of people being dunked in white garments, I probably have something different in mind.
You've got something very X-rated in mind, don't you?
Well, I mean,
I have no idea where he's going.
Usually they get baptized at
white
spring
t-shirt,
break.
Yeah, white t-shirt contest.
Okay. Instead of white, and it's how does your mind not go there?
Yeah.
Mine didn't.
I know.
I'm trying to remember. I mean, I was baptized into the LDS church, and I know that I had to wear all white, but I don't remember if it was like a one-piece thing or a long-sleeve shirt or T-shirt or.
Mine was a gown. It was like just a wool gown. Nothing to it. Yeah.
Do you remember?
I think they are one piece.
Yeah.
Or maybe there are, but maybe
like
they have
a onesie.
Yeah, maybe they do have like a pant and shirt baptismal set or something.
Yeah,
who knows? They're changing their fashion all the time for their sacred.
It never changes.
Undies,
yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah, and I just have this vague memory of having to wear all white, and the baptismal font water was a very nice temperature. Like it was nice. It was nice and warm.
It's bath water.
How long were you in line for?
No, it was just one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was like the pool downtown.
No.
Okay.
No, it did smell very much like a chlorine pool, though.
Yeah.
Well, they keep it nice and clean.
Yeah, very hygienic.
Yeah.
You know scientifically, if you smell more chlorine, it means there's more wee in it.
What? Why
Yeah.
would it?
How is that scientific?
Yeah.
Mythbusters did a thing on it. So the chlorine they use in pools reacts with urea.
Oh.
So the more chlorine.
So the more
smell.
of that chlorine smell you have is the more that the chlorine is acting to actually attack bacteria in the water.
I wonder what the ratio is for a trade-off. Like, clearly, if you add more chlorine...
Just watch that episode of South Park.
Yeah. Hey, my cat! But, I mean, clearly, if you add more chlorine, it's going to smell more chlorinated. So what is the ratio of,
probably keep it the
urine
same.
to chlorine that...
when they did the test on it, they just found out that if there actually was more urine in the pool, you would smell a stronger chlorine smell.
Because it's reacting with the chemicals.
Because it's reacting with the chemicals versus no urea in the pool, you wouldn't have as strong of a chlorine smell. So you still got that chlorine smell, but it's stronger with the more people pee in the pool.
Well, like I said, I think it would still depend on how much chlorine they put in there initially. Right?
True.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if you put too much chlorine in there, it's going to harm you.
Huh. Well, yeah. When I was on the diving team in high school, my hair started turning green from the chlorine in the pool, apparently.
Mine happened too. I was a lifeguard for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm colorblind, so I didn't notice right away. And my mom pointed it out. She's like, your hair's turning green. And I was like, On the Hulk. I don't know what you want me
I'm
to
just
say.
going through a phase, Mom.
I'll grow out of it, I'm sure. Speaking of phases and parents and growing out of things, how does your family handle your Satanism?
I never really came out, per se. It was just all the stuff was popping up on my Facebook page. I was sharing everything and stuff like that. So to my mother's credit, when she was like, oh, she's probably a member, she didn't initially freak out and call me and say, what the fuck are you doing? She actually took the time and went on the website and saw what we were all about. And so it's a,
wow.
Yeah.
Kudos to Mom.
Kudos to Mom. Yeah, she's pretty great. So, it's one of those things where it's an accepted reality. We just don't really talk about it. I'm sure it still makes them really uncomfortable because they're still very active in their Christian community. But, my dad and I don't talk about it. It's just we don't talk, and that's fine. There's just a lot that just doesn't need to be said about it. It's known, and that's all there needs to be. So,
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
What was it? What was your road to actually discovering the Satanic Temple and everything, and breaking away from the Christianity that you've been raised with?
So I stopped considering myself. I considered myself an atheist right around the time I was about 15 or 16. Is when I completely disavowed any association with Christianity or any deity worship at all around that time. And so I was just one of those atheist people. Just didn't really need an answer to anything. I knew what I didn't believe, and that was fine for me. I wasn't even looking for any alternatives. It was just like, okay, well, I don't believe in this. I certainly don't, but that's fine. I don't need anything else. And so I sauntered along through my teen years and my 20s. And, when you're talking about becoming a Satanist, a lot of people are introduced to it via the Satanic Bible, which is written by Anton LaVey, which we have no association with. But, that's usually everyone's, first introduction into Satanism.
Satanic Panic.
Yeah, the Panic.
Yeah, that was, so the COS, the Church of Satan, was established, the Satanic Bibles, in the 60s. And so, they were the first, that's been heavily disputed. So I would say they were the first long-lasting organized satanic community. There were others well before that, but, COS was the first long-standing, still here, communities. So I had read the Satanic Bible, first time when I was about 16 or 17. Was very 40-60 about it, 40%. I was like, yeah, no, that's really awesome. Oh wow, there's a religion out there that thinks rape is terrible, and
slavery's bad. I'm going.
Yeah. Just these ideas that are so counter to what you're raised with. All about personal responsibility and stuff like that. So that was really cool. But the other 60%. Just, I wasn't about it. You have your social Darwinism, your, the magic aspect of it, the rituals and the spells and stuff, and I just wasn't about it. So I'd actually read it twice. So first time when I was a little bit younger, and then I decided to go back to it when I was a little bit older because it was just one of those things I wanted to understand a little bit better, because you can't really say you're against something if you don't know anything about it. So if you don't understand just the core concept of, I'm not a Buddhist because of this. Well, why is that? Well, just because I'm not. No, there should be a reason why you're not. It's just, this about it, and that's why you're not. And that's a better explanation than saying, well, it just sounds dumb. I don't like it. Yeah. Read it again. Same thing. Just I'm like, 40-60, just can't really get into it that much. So, my journey into Satanism really did start with the Satanic Temple, and I like to say, because I really feel this is true, that I didn't find the Satanic Temple found me, because I wasn't looking for it.
Oh, that's adorable.
It's adorbs, I know. But it's genuinely how I feel, because I just was not looking to be a part of any community at the time. It was just, here's this really cool satanic community that's doing this with the Baphomet statue, and they're, these campaigns they're doing, this activism. It's amazing. Oh, the tenets. I don't have to change anything about myself to believe in this. So it started really small, just started varying, just kind of looking into it, just learning all about, reading all the literature and everything like that. So I kind of reluctantly went into it, but once I decided it was for me, it was because this is who I am, and I don't have to change anything about myself to be a part of
You really
this.
identified it.
I identified heavily with it, and it took me a long time because I don't like being a part of, organizations really. I mean, I had just completely pushed back from it for so many years, and so it actually was me stepping outside my comfort zone, but knowing that it was the right thing for me, and I believed so much in it that that's where I am. That's how I got to where I am today. So that's how I went from Christianity to atheism to Satanism.
Don't hear a lot of Satan touched my heart stories, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Satan did indeed touch my heart.
He wants a relationship with everybody.
Yeah.
I know.
Why do you think all these confused Christians just turn down a relationship with Satan?
I don't know.
They're so confused. And what were you going to say, Ryan?
Oh no, I was going to say I've said it on here before, but
then shut up.
Well, fuck you. It's more pertinent to this story.
Well, then never mind.
Maybe they don't remember me saying it. But no, the 7 tenets of the Satanic Temple.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually at work brought that up on my phone and read them to guys before without telling them
what it is.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what do you think of this? Do you only think this is kind of like a really good way to live your life? A really good, there's nothing bad about what they're saying here. Like, oh yeah, that sounds really good. Where does that come from? Oh, the Satanic Temple. I'm like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is the tenets of the Satanic Temple. Doesn't it sound way better than your 10 Commandments or your, if she's not a virgin, killer book? So I'm like, yeah.
No, they're Satanists. No, that's bad. It's automatically bad. No.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you tell them, hey, here's the 7 tenets of the Satanic Temple, they won't want to hear it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But once you read it to them and they're like, oh, that's actually pretty good. I like that. Then they find out where it comes from and they're like, oh.
Well, that doesn't fit the vague notion I have of what being a Satanist means from all of the movies that I've seen and television shows that I've watched.
Well, and the indoctrination too. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, that's the Satan is that figure that keeps you on God's path, right? I mean, that's.
You're taught to fear it without knowing why you fear it.
Yeah.
There's no good reason to fear Satan, actually, even according to the Bible. They just do.
Yeah.
Well, it's just all the indoctrination and talk against Satan that clearly he's the bad guy because the Bible says he's the bad guy.
Mm-hmm. I know a lot of Christians will, like, the idiot ones anyway. Like, if you say you're an atheist, they'll say, oh, so you like the devil or whatever.
You worship the devil
yeah. Does it go the other way? If you say you're a Satanist, they're like, oh, so you're an atheist. That doesn't really happen, right?
No, it never does. It's, we are constantly having to tell people that we don't worship an actual deity, Satan, that it's it's a literary metaphor. That Satan being the adversary is what the word actually really means. And it's a literary construct. So yeah, but I'm amazed that it's never been, oh, so you're an atheist. It's never that. It's never that way. No. You always have to justify the fact that you are an atheist when you're talking about being a Satanist. So,
well, one of the criticisms that I hear launched against the Satanic Temple all the time is that it's dishonest, and I hear this from atheists all the time.
Dishonest in what way?
That knowing how Christians are going to respond to
the symbol,
to the symbolism, and to the just the name itself. Being the Satanic Temple, that you're being deliberately misleading and you're being deliberately obtuse or disingenuous,
provocative,
and that you should know that most Christians are going to have a knee-jerk reaction to this with a preconceived notion of what Satanism means or is, and so that by claiming the label of being a Satanist, you're automatically being duplicitous, or you're being disingenuous, or you're being misleading.
Well, what I'd say to that is not everything is about them. Maybe we're considered Satanists because that's who we identify with, and their reaction to it isn't even considered. Like, it's not even a consideration, and that's not the point.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, it's not the goal. It's not the whole. It's not the reason. It's simply, the idea of Satan, the literary Satan of, the natural inquisitor, the eternal rebel against the ultimate tyrannical force. That's why we identify as Satanists, and the people who react the strongest, who are typically Christian or anything like that. they like to make it all about them, and that's not the purpose, and that's not why. So so we're completely genuine in how we feel, and that's an odd. I've never heard that. I haven't heard that one before.
Oh, really? I hear that one all the time, and I love your answer. By the way, I think that is wonderful, because I think when I hear atheists say that, not only are they playing into the Christian stereotype and the Christian view of that, they're actually promoting it.
Yeah.
They're promoting a Christian view that they clearly don't agree with, but they're still using the Christian narrative to denounce the Satanic Temple.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. It is a knee-jerk reaction. And, a lot of atheists do come out of some kind of religious, Christianity or what have you. And so when you're indoctrinated your entire life, it's hard not to be knee-jerk, because it's just drilled into your entire life. So, I understand the knee-jerk reaction, but I also think it's interesting that, the atheist community is so, it's all about, being rational and everything like that, but they don't have a lot of rational reactions to stuff to us. So it's a little ironic.
Yeah. But I think that at least in some cases, the skepti senses go tingly, because Satan is a mythical figure within the Christian mythology. So immediately it's like, you start to feel like, okay, I mean, I understand you guys don't believe that it's real and you guys don't worship and all that, but I think immediately they're thinking, we back away from that thing. Mm-hmm. And so.
Well, it's also a religion thing too. I mean, I think there are a lot of atheists that I've met who are so just against us in general. It's not that they're against us on principle. It's just that, you guys are a religion.
Right.
I really fucking hate religion. And so it's not even us per se. It's the fact that it's a religious organization. And so there's a lot of just, I know a lot of people like, Christian Scientists?
Oh,
God. I've heard some stories. And so it's, so I've known some people who are, former Christian Scientists. And so, they didn't fit in anywhere. And so they even if they can support us wholeheartedly in everything we do, and they can agree to the tenets and everything, but the fact that we're a religion, they're like, get that the fuck away from me. Like, you guys do you, but I don't want anything to do with it. So
interesting.
There's a lot of aspects to it that we get even from the atheist community, but
Well, I know when I first had heard of the Satanic Temple, I actually had to do some research on it to find out, oh wait, this is, they have a more of an atheistic view. They don't actually worship a literal Satan. I'm like, oh, okay, that's different then. So I had to get into it and research it, and then, finding the 7 tenets, and then later on actually getting to talk to Lucian Greaves and stuff. I'm like, oh, these people are fucking badass.
Yeah.
Well,
give us a chance.
Yeah. Well, like I mentioned, they don't just play into the Christian narrative. They use the Christian narrative to bash the Satanic Temple.
Yeah.
And they're on one hand, they're completely against Christianity in the sense of not wanting to be Christian or to have religion play into things, but then they allow Christians to define what a religion is and why the Satanic Temple would be bad, or why religion is bad, because of the Christian narrative of what a religion is or means.
Yeah. So
and I think that is duplicitous and misleading. They're using Christian beliefs to say that something else is bad. It doesn't make any sense to me.
To quote Saitan Bruggencate, they're borrowing from the Christian worldview to argue.
Yeah. It's a hard habit to break, unfortunately. So I don't put it against anybody, because I know it's a hard habit to break, especially when it's been drilled into you for so many years that it's hard to back away from that. But at least there are some people out there like you guys that'll give us a chance. And
well, I mean, you guys have amassed a pretty incredible group of spokespeople. I mean, after you hear any number of you chapter heads or executives or whatever they are speak on almost anything, you're like, holy shit. These guys and gals are super sharp, and
that was
talking about.
That was one of the first things that drew me toward the Satanic Temple was what a wordsmith Lucian is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's brilliant. Even just knowing him in person and talking to him, just bullshitting and exchanging tit jokes. He does it with such finesse. He does it so intelligently with such finesse. It's just it's just how it is. And of course, Jex being our other spokesperson, she's just so eloquent, and just so smart, and it's a lot to aspire to. It's nice to have people who speak for the organization you're with to be people that you look up to and aspire to be like that, because it makes you want to be better in what you do. So it's lovely, and all of our chapter heads are incredible. Like I've met the majority of all of them either online or in person, and I couldn't be more proud to have that family that I have, because they're all so unique and so wonderful, so intelligent and bright, and just incredible people. So
yeah, I definitely have to agree. Like I said, I was stalking you all week while you were in Boston. It looks so fun.
Yeah.
I was looking at your timeline and Michelle's timeline and Ash's and Stu's and Lucian's page out there, and I was like, man, they're having so much fun. That looks awesome. Such cool people.
Yeah.
We have an eternity in hell to spend with each other. So
it's going to be the best. All the cool people are there anyway.
Oh, for sure.
I'd rather party with them.
I want to be in heaven with those uptight worshipping assholes
with no bacon.
So
no bacon.
So how does the whole structure of the Satanic Temple work? You mentioned the other chapter heads and stuff like that. Like, how many chapters and chapter heads are there, and what's above them, and how does that whole dynamic break down?
So starting from the top, we have executive ministry. They're pretty much the co-founders, probably some other people, and they're kind of the last. They're at the very top, and they have final say. And then what they've done is they've established National Council, which is a combination of people who the chapter heads go to with all of their requests, to go, you give all your requests to the National Council, and they approve or, disapprove or, get more information. So they're really the people that it's what the chapter heads rely on to, get projects, campaigns, meetings and stuff like that through. And then you have your chapter heads who basically work as, kind of the directors of your chapter. So, we're the ones who are, we speak directly with National Council. We, make sure, we organize everything, keep all the financials, very much like a manager position is what it feels like. And, I'm responsible for, making sure that new memberships come in and, answering any questions and, any media requests. They either go to the spokespeople, or sometimes we can speak on behalf of just the chapter local stuff. And we have all the memberships, and then each chapter has their core councils, and so that's basically the council of which you have trusted people that help you put everything together, bring the ideas and stuff. And then all other membership is people who come to your meetings, or they bring you ideas, they show up, they help you with everything. So it's pretty great. I like it. It's the National Council is fairly new, but they've been amazing, and they're a really good resource, and they're all incredible people, and anything you need, they're on it. So it's really nice, because before it would just be like, hey, Lucian, hey, I need this.
But everybody's doing that, right?
I was going to say, everybody's doing it. Everybody wants,
Everybody wants a piece of his time.
Everybody wants a piece of his time. So I'm sure that has just lifted a lot off of his plate, and, other people that were on executive, and, helps free up time for the stuff that they want to do. And, he's very involved with Grey Faction that we have. And so I'm glad it's structured, because, we as the chapters, we have our place to go for all the stuff that we need, just everyday big campaign stuff, and, executive can do everything that they need to do. So it's working pretty well.
Do you know how many different chapters there are, or where they are? Do you have any feel for the numbers on number of chapters and locations?
It was like 15 to 20, I think, because there was a moratorium on it for quite a long time, and there are actually some chapters that we have that don't even have an online presence. So I don't think I've met those people yet. But so if we're starting on the West Coast, we've got Seattle. We have 2 chapters in California, San Jose, Los Angeles.
Go Steve Hill.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. Utah, Arizona, Minneapolis, I think we have one in Texas. We have our Detroit, New York, Florida. We just got West Florida as a brand new one. We have Boston. And I'm sure I am missing a few more than that. It's actually on our website. We have the list of the official ones, but I mean, quite a few, especially lately now that the moratorium's done. Maine. We have one in Maine. I can't forget Mercy. So yeah, we're building now that the moratorium's done. We kind of have more of a, they really had to kind of get all their shit together and stuff like that. So now that that's been done, people are applying and
wanted to get all of the feces cohesive before they started trickling all that down.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Shit rolls downhill, but you got to make sure that it's in a group before it
gets there.
Can move, right? Yeah.
No one likes runny poo.
Got to get the poop in a group.
Yeah. Oh, in New York. We have Ash in New York.
Poop in a group, feces cohesive.
Yeah. Yep.
So how many people do you have here locally as actual members of the Satanic Temple? Or do you...
Official membership. So this isn't including people who consider themselves members. As far as people that I work with directly, we have 7.
Okay.
So we're small. We're tiny. But we've only been here since February. So.
Yeah, you're new. I mean, you're growing.
Yeah, and we're trying to get the word out there. We actually have our very first big event, on Pioneer Day, our unbaptism event.
Awesome.
Which is for member, ally, any spectator alike. It's, so essentially what it is we're doing this big unbaptism on stage. It's going to be this big spectacle. And people can come and watch, and then we have some entertainment that we're going to have, and people can have their drinks and
So do you have all the info for this yet? Like where?
Most of it, yeah. So it's Sunday. It's Sunday, July 24th on Pioneer Day.
I think you mean Pie and Beer Day.
Pie and Beer Day, yeah. We'll have, maybe we should bring pie. That would be and it's going to be at the Metro Bar. And it's $10 to get in, and it's 21 and over. So doors open at 6. Ceremony will be at 7. So the way it's going to be is we'll have our big unbaptism ceremony on the big stage, and we'll make it a show for everybody. It'll be really great. And then afterwards, after we do the main one, we'll have some other people come through. If they want to be unbaptized, they can do that. And then we'll also have some other entertainment around the bar, and then people can drink and talk and just hang out. And we really want it to be, kind of like a people come and meet and hang out and bond and stuff like that. So it's
a social gathering.
A social gathering, yeah. And it's for everybody. You don't have to be a member. You don't even have to be a Satanist. If you just want to come see what we're about, that's cool too. So it's going to be really great. I hope a lot of people show up. I hope a lot of people show up.
So if you're local, you know what to do on July 24th.
Yeah, I was going to say, come get unbaptized.
Come see the real fireworks, motherfuckers.
That's right.
Well, they're not going to do fireworks on Sunday anyway.
Of course they're not. They're going to do Friday?
They'll do it Saturday.
Saturday or Monday.
Sure. No, they won't wait until Monday. They'll do it Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we talked about the national organization and the chapter heads. Who do you have helping you here locally? Did you say like a local council or?
Yeah, so we have our core council, and there's 4 of us, and they're incredible, and I couldn't do this without them. They're basically, the support system, and they help me, put everything together, help make decisions, say, hey, let's do this. Okay, well, after I get approval from national, let's put this all together. So it's, the core council is really important, because we essentially, take these ideas that come in, or even they have their ideas, and then we say, okay, let's work this out. Is this relevant? Is this something that we want to put on the TST name? A lot of it is, determining, and part of my job too is basically, saying whether or not it's relevant, because, we're not a catch-all for everybody, and people don't tend to understand that, but my council does. They're amazing. That's that. They're basically just, my big support system, and I couldn't do any of this without them. So
who secures all your goat purchases for sacrifice?
I can't disclose that.
Names and addresses.
She said earlier her family was sheep herders.
Oh, that's true.
That's true. I get a discount. I get a family discount. It's me.
That's how you became chapter head.
Yes. I got the hookup. Yeah, it's the only reason they wanted me.
Well, and you mentioned Grey Faction, and that's a fairly new development. What is Grey Faction?
So Grey Faction is the part of the Satanic Temple that deals with exposing basically the satanic panic within the mental health field. So there are a lot of mental health professionals out there who are still
Dr. Lecter. Grr.
Neil Brick. What an asshole. So they're the part of the organization that's, exposes, malpractice within the mental health field, people who are continually propagating this idea of satanic panic, ritualistic abuse, satanic cults, stuff like that. So, their primary thing is just to expose these people and try to get them, legally, trying to, expose them to the public and try and get the boards, the mental health boards,
the certifying boards
to investigate.
Yeah.
So they compile all the data, they compile, everything, we have our petitions. We, did one with, Ellen Lachter.
Mm-hmm.
She is a real piece of work.
Piece of something.
She's really into the idea of, ritualistic, abuse and, satanic cults. And there was this, case, quite a few years back with this, multimillionaire lady. Her name was Gigi Jordan. And she was convinced that her son, who was autistic, his autism was
was a manifestation.
Was a manifestation of being abused, by satanic cults and sexually and stuff like that. So she was absolutely convinced. This woman was clearly, something was absolutely wrong with her.
Off her goddamn rocker.
Off her goddamn rocker. So she was convinced, and so she murdered her son as a mercy killing. And Ellen Lachter gets into this because she was actually, this Gigi Jordan was actually a patient of hers at one point. She was seeing her, and, it's believed that Gigi Jordan got this idea in her head about satanic cults from Ellen Lachter because, she believes in that so much. She thinks it's a thing. She's made a whole career off of it.
Spoon-fed that to her.
Spoon-fed it, and and we're pretty convinced that that's why, her son Jude is no longer with us. So, we started a petition. We got all the signatures, and it was sent to the applicable, review board, and they sent us a letter back saying that they were looking into it. So nice. I hope something comes out of it. And the new one we have is against this guy named, Neil Brick, who is the head of this place called SMART. It's a stop. Oh, I'm terrible with acronyms. Stop.
My achy
breaky heart.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have it written down because I knew I would forget this. I absolutely knew I would forget the acronym. It's,
SMRT SMART.
I am so smart. SMRT.
MOON spells moon.
Stop mind control, stop mind control and ritual abuse today is what it stands for, the SMART. Okay. And so he's another guy who's completely convinced of, the existence of ritualistic abuse and satanic cults.
Smakarat, really.
Yeah, somebody who has admittedly, so via his own admission, claims that he's made, is a part of the Illuminati and himself, under mind control, that he can be triggered to rape and kill at any given point. I mean, this guy, these are things.
He's a practicing clinician?
And he is a practicing clinician.
Oh, wow.
This man is in practice.
How much stock in tinfoil does he have?
Tinfoil hats?
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's, he owns
There's
them.
not enough tinfoil to make that hat, sir.
Yeah.
Well, that's why he has a stock in it, because he's going to spend so much money on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he is another guy who is spouting this bullshit.
Still in practice.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
We do have the petition that's online. It's on change.org. And we actually got the required 1,000 signatures, and so we're basically gathering more so that we can deliver the petition to the board to have him looked into as well. So, yeah, the guy's an absolute nutter. He's absolutely crazy.
Just doing damage to people that he should be helping.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the sad thing. So, obviously, these satanic cults don't exist. Ritual abuse does not, it's just never been proven to exist. It really doesn't. And these people these delusional mental health professionals are taking these people that go to them, and they are in they're in such a way, and they're vulnerable.
Well, and these people are seeking help.
They're seeking
and they're
help,
being harmed.
and they're being harmed by these people. I mean, to the point where somebody most likely via this malpractice murdered their child. And so what it's doing to people who are seeking their help and being convinced that their issues are from that their issues are this manifestations of satanic ritualistic abuse. I mean, that in itself is the abuse. And it's sickening. It's terrible. And, I feel very strongly about it because I, at one point, needed that help. And knowing where I was at that point in my life, if I'd had someone like Neil Brick in my head, like, I don't know if I'd be here. I probably would have been worse off. If somebody was telling me that, all of this stuff going on with me was, I've been ritualistically abused and, all this repressed memory bullshit, just putting this shit in my head, like, I can't imagine where I'd be. And they're in practice. They're quote unquote, they're quote unquote helping people. They're responsible for the health care of these people. And
they prey upon the most vulnerable people who go to them seeking help.
Yeah.
And completely abuse their position of power and authority over these people, feeding them these ridiculous delusions that leads to demonstrable harm.
It does. And so that's why I'm so incredibly grateful that Grey Faction exists, because, their work is to expose these people for what they're doing and having, the proper authorities look into them and, look at the claims and, the evidence and make their determinations. But, some of them
expose them for being giant shitheads.
Yeah. And hopefully go to jail.
Yeah.
So, does Grey Faction have its own website, or are they on the Satanic
It does.
Temple?
It's greyfaction.org, I believe. And you can see the link to it on the Satanic, the satanictemple.com. There's a link there, but they do have their own website, and you can see everything that they've been doing. There was a recent protest during the national conference, the ISSTD, and them kind of protesting there, and so all of this campaigns, all of the stuff they're working on is currently on the website, so you can check that out and see what
I always thought the ISSTD sounds like some space-based sexually transmitted disease center.
Yeah, well, they're the ones helping propagate this stuff along. I mean, all of these people are showing up. I mean, hundreds of practicing mental health professionals are showing up, and they're being fed this as if it's legitimate. And the ISSTD is there. I mean, they're just like, yeah, no, show up and bring your tinfoil hats and
never have to do any work ever again. You can just give this formula to everyone that comes in your office, and you don't even have to worry about listening to their actual problems or dealing with any of that. Just give them this bullshit.
Yeah, you can blame all the world's woes on this one particular group. And point to them and say, well, this is what happened. You were ritually abused, or your child is being ritually abused.
Well, I don't remember any of that. No, I know. That's part of it. That's part of it that you don't remember it. We'll help you. We'll help you with that.
Clever.
It's a repressed memory.
Yeah, they're that clever. They've made you forget all of this. We'll hypnotize you and draw all of this information out.
Yeah, well, and it's it all kind of started within the. Satanic Panic as the phenomena, we're referring to the one in the 80s, but I mean, every group throughout history has been Satanized, so it's not like it's, unique to us and our generation. But, it really started, and people think that, the Satanic Panic of the 80s and 90s is completely gone, like everyone's forgot about it, but it's alive and well. It's just kind of hush hush, and it's in the mental health field, so. So I'm hoping.
And what is that? What's the name of it is escaping me. The type of communication that, like Jade couldn't. He was autistic, so he couldn't communicate by himself.
Oh, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So
it's some kind of assisted. It was an assisted communication, and I used to know what it was specifically called. But essentially, what it was is, somebody would guide. They have a keyboard next to them, and through like body language or muscle spasms, or there was a way that the person there could determine what they were trying to type and then help them type, or said they could determine. Well, and that was, I mean, that's, and it's been completely proven to be bullshit. I mean, it's
like a Ouija board.
Exactly. It's exactly what it is. It's a Ouija board. And so, that's how with this case with Gigi Jordan and her son Jude, that's exactly what happened. She was guiding, him along, and apparently in his responses had vocabulary that he could not have possibly had, but, she was just like, yeah, no, this is what he said. talking about all sorts
correctly.
of, yeah, exactly. having, the capabilities, the capabilities that he wouldn't have had.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So there's it's like muscle kinetics or something like that that supposedly was supposed to work, but it's been proven to not. So it's bullshit.
Magic.
While we're talking about people who wear tinfoil hats, I thought I would bring this to everybody's attention if we didn't know what was happening in New Zealand on the 2nd and 3rd of July. You know what's going on in New Zealand on July 2nd and 3rd?
They're preparing for Americans being assholes celebrating their independence?
No.
What?
There's a Flat Earthers Conference.
Oh, yay.
Oh, wow.
In New Zealand on July 3rd and 2nd. All the world-renowned scientists that are going to prove the Earth is flat will be meeting in New Zealand on July 2nd. Zoo Zealand. That's what it's going to turn into. It's going to turn into a Zoo Zealand.
Scientists in Zoo Zealand.
That's what it's going to turn into, is a zoo with these, crazy tinfoil hat wearing people that are there for a Flat Earth convention.
Hey, all the more power to them, man.
I know flat earthers exist. I haven't really looked into their claims of why they.
I didn't know they had
how they can justify their beliefs.
They have lots of them.
Yeah.
They have lots of reasons why they think that.
Have you looked into it?
Yes. I was going through
Can you explain any of them to me? Like,
I'll try to think. I'll try to think of some.
to you.
I mean, one of the big things is that, like, when ships and planes are navigating, that they don't take into account the curvature of the Earth at all for getting from A to B or whatever.
Are any of them actually pilots?
I don't know. And I don't know the answer to that either. Like, I don't know if that's actually true or not, but that's one thing. I know there was another thing when they were talking about when they dug the, like, say, the Panama Canal or whatever like that. They were saying how the tools they use are perfectly level, and they went all the way across this, however wide that is. What is it, 50 miles wide or something, 30 miles? I don't know, whatever it is.
Well, it's long, not wide.
Well, long. Okay,
Yeah.
but how long is that isthmus, though? Or how wide is that isthmus?
isthmus. That's a fun word.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. But what they were saying was that they used this, like, level tool to dig out to dredge the earth from underneath it. And they're saying, well, over this span of, let's say, 30 miles, the earth should have curved X amount, whatever that was. And they're like, but it actually is perfectly parallel the whole way through. And I'm like, yeah, no shit, dude. Because you're measuring from the earth to the top of the water.
Yeah.
On both sides. It's going to be exactly the same. Yeah, of course it is. But it's stuff like that. Or why
steel doesn't melt at
Seems
that
legit.
temperature.
Yeah, or why like flights from Santiago to Canberra or Perth or whatever, why they don't go over Antarctica? Why do they go around, like, to LA and everything? If the Earth was round, that's like an extra, like, I don't know, 20 hours or whatever they say.
Well,
Stuff like that.
Well,
All
the
the
reason
more
why
power
you
to
don't
'em.
fly over Antarctica is because if you have an emergency and have to land, there ain't nowhere free to fucking land. So planes like to spend the most amount of time over land as
Over land,
possible.
Yeah. Also, there's nowhere to gas up. Also, there's no extra people getting on or off. I mean, when they go from Santiago to LAX, there's a shit ton of exchange people. People they're exchanging, picking up new people to go to Australia.
Well, even
whatever.
like
So, I mean,
going
there's-
from Europe to the U.S., we would always stop off in like Greenland or something, or Iceland, and because we're always going over land. Like, we didn't pick anybody up. It was just, hey, we're going from here to here,
Or you have to
over,
refuel
and
or
then
something
down.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we
Refuel. Yeah. I don't know. So it's a whole bunch of reasons like that.
Well, and flight plans don't follow, like, they don't go in a straight line
No,
from
they're-
point
they're-
A to point B.
They're curved, and so will
And,
that
yeah,
boat travel will be
curved.
slightly arced.
They curve the flight plan
Yeah.
according to the Earth's
Yes.
curvature because that is a shorter distance than going in a, like, if you're looking at a globe, and if you draw a straight line from, like, LA to New York City, that is a longer distance than if you take a curved route heading north
and meet it where
Yeah.
it's going to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's one for you. Then how come the oceans don't fall off?
Jesus.
They would you would think that they would fall off if the Earth were flat.
No, because the entire Earth is surrounded by an ice wall.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, that's what the poles are. Duh.
What?
But do the poles encircle us?
Yes,
So they're not the North and South Pole. They're the circular
it's everywhere. Yeah,
pole. It's not really
Well,
a pole.
it's not really a pole either.
It's a hoop.
yeah.
The
It's like the Great Wall in
The
Game
polar
of Thrones. Line.
hoops.
There's two of them.
or I guess it wouldn't even be plural at that point. It would just be the
One.
polar hoop.
Yep.
So they have to believe NASA and the ISS are all like fake.
Yep.
Well, I'm convinced.
I mean, that's one thing. I mean,
I was really hoping to go to outer space too.
I mean, let's forget for a second that there's no such thing as up or down or whatever once you back out from the Earth that far. And there's nothing for why would what would be pulling the ocean off anyway? It's not like here's the actual ground and here's Earth. That doesn't happen. So none of the physics work for that anyway.
No.
So even in their,
I don't understand. Do they also think that we're on the back of a turtle?
I don't know.
It's turtles all the way down.
Yeah, turtles all the way down. Also, and this one's the real kicker. If you look at the UN logo, flat Earth.
Because they've taken the globe and flattened it out.
Evidence is right there.
Fuck.
The rest of us are too blind to see.
Because they couldn't create a 3D flag. Clearly, this is
bullshit.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, then
you can go to flatearthsociety.com or whatever it is, .org, I don't know, .edu, whatever the fuck it is. But
.edu. That's hilarious.
It was free.
Yeah, like I said, I just haven't looked into any of their claims to know how deep the bullshit goes.
I probably picked some of the funnier ones.
Well,
I remember reading through,
how do people sail around the world then?
Yeah.
There's a competition every few years where people sail around the world. If it ended at some point, they wouldn't be able to whoop.
Well, what they're doing is they're following that circular trajectory around the disc.
I guess I would have to imagine. I don't know what it even looked like. What would it look like?
Like a CD. And all the continents are set up in the middle, and then you have the polar hoop holding all the oceans in.
Confusing.
It still doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't get it.
I don't understand how any of that would work.
I would need to see it. I would go to the website and see it.
No, it doesn't work, Dan.
So when rivers flow, are they just flowing to the low point on this flat-ish?
That's what they they still do that. That's correct. Even on the round Earth, they do that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if the Earth was just flat, I mean, clearly they don't think that mountains don't exist and that kind of shit. But
also take a picture of the horizon. Flat. That's another big one. Which I saw a funny one that showed super close up of a basketball, and they're like, "Yeah, basketballs are flat." It's if you're taking that small of a sample, it's gonna look flat. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No,
rivers do run downhill in both scenarios.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to determine where. Now that doesn't make any sense either. I was going to say where the low point is for the rivers to run to, but even on a globe, that doesn't make sense. So,
how do they explain volcanoes?
How is that? Why is that tricky? Oh, because the center of the Earth stuff.
Because you got the pressure that's pushing outward or pushing inwards. That you got the magma underneath.
So that's turtle poop coming out.
Turtle poop, yeah.
Turtle poop. He's been eating too much hot sauce.
Yes. Taco Tuesday.
Oh,
volcanoes are just the pimple on Earth's face.
Yes. Got to burst sometime.
Oh. That's all very strange.
Yes.
Turtle poop and pimples.
And so obviously then, I mean, I don't know if they all think that it's a heliocentric system, but certainly some must think that the moon and the sun just do circles around each other.
Or is it an upside down frisbee, the better example?
How is that different from a CD?
Because there's no hole in the middle, and it's got lips around the edges of it.
Oh God! Okay, you need it. Fine. Use your
much better analogy, Ryan.
Yeah,
yeah, that's fine.
I know they're both round, but one's got lips on the side of it,
and one doesn't have a hole in the middle.
No hole in the middle.
Sure.
Because otherwise, all the water would funnel right through that hole in the middle.
I thought maybe that could have been overlooked, but
clearly you were wrong.
No, you use an object with a hole in the middle of it.
Huh.
Yeah, so frisbee then. Fair enough.
It still just seems really strange to me that anybody could
maybe
really
more like a
that.
disc golf disc. Maybe
Okay, but whoa.
There's all kinds of different golf discs though.
Yeah,
like
true. More like a putter.
Oh yeah.
Drivers are too small. All right, Jesus. All right. Anyway,
we're getting in the weeds.
We've digressed.
You want to do any newsy things?
I don't have any newsy things.
We always have newsy things.
Well, we still got the two other Supreme Court rulings that came out today.
What were they?
Well, we have one with guns.
The Supreme Court issued guns to everybody?
No.
Oh.
But they made a ruling that people have been charged with domestic violence or domestic dispute type stuff can no longer possess firearms.
Yes.
Which I thought was already a thing.
Yeah, I thought
So
that was
you
already a
say-
thing as well.
Yeah, I wonder what. It clearly hasn't been enforced.
Well, maybe I mean,
or maybe someone was fighting it.
maybe there was a challenge to it that they just said, no, this is correct. I don't
Yeah.
know.
So you can't own firearms if you beat a wife.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that was already a thing.
And due to our lovely city office working lady in Texas.
Oh, and real quick before we move off of guns,
Yeah.
Taylor,
Yeah.
thought very highly of your Federalist Papers
Thank you, Taylor.
argument against the Second Amendment.
I wish it would have flowed out of my mouth a little better last week, but
Or
I think
not
we got the
necessarily
point
against
across.
the Second Amendment, but against today's interpretation of the
Yeah.
Second Amendment.
Yeah.
Basically saying that it's the National Guard is our well-regulated militia, and that's pretty much the only people that should be allowed to be armed.
Yeah. That was a very good thing you did last week.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it very much, and so did Taylor. He wants me to send him a cut of just that section of the show
Okay.
to provide to somebody that he's arguing with.
Well, I can direct him. I'll text him, direct him to the actual text of it.
Oh,
as
that
well.
might be good. Yeah,
So
that would probably help as well. I don't know if he's looking for a particular medium that he can just go, here, listen to this, dummy, or
And they're going to say, well, it's not the Constitution, so I don't give a shit.
that's not what the Supreme Court has said.
But the Federalist Papers go right along with the Constitution because that's where all the founding fathers laid out their actual interpretations of what the Constitution actually says.
Yeah.
It's like when they make a ruling in the Supreme Court. There's their ruling. Now this is why they made that ruling.
Supreme Court ain't my government.
Are you big into politics, Chalice?
Personally,
Yeah.
a few things. Only what I know about. Other things, I can just accept that I don't know anything about it, and I don't have an opinion one way or the other.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what are you passionate about politics wise?
Politics, keeping people out of my uterus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Separation of church and state.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
Those are both very good things to
Yeah, but as far as like
keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Particularly as a woman. Like, as a guy, I don't try to keep people out of my uterus, but
Yeah. Well, you should.
No, yeah, you really should, man. It's like a revolving door in there.
well, yeah, but I mean, it's consensual, so I don't mind
Oh.
too much. I'm all about being probed. The aliens are welcome as well. Fuck. No tinfoil here.
Yeah, there you go. Have you not had a ride on the Gray's ship?
No.
Oh, okay.
Now
You
you're
said it
missing
like
out.
you said it like you had. So I was just
no,
going to say.
it's just a hope and desire.
Oh, okay,
a dream,
okay.
a want,
Yeah,
a
'cause
wish.
Then you'll see how flat the Earth is. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, well, where do the Greys come from then?
Some other flat world.
What's on the other side?
The mountains, naked bums.
No, like
I don't
seriously.
know, dude.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe this stuff. I just am.
Defend the position that you don't have, Matt.
Yeah,
And that I know absolutely nothing about.
I gave you the website.
Gave you the information I read 5 minutes before we turned the mics on.
Yeah, I think the website is hosted by someone that also gave Kent Hovind his PhD.
Oh, well.
No, I'm just kidding. But it wouldn't surprise me. Anyway.
Oh, what were you going to say, Ryan?
Well, I was going to say our other bit of news from the Supreme Court today is the fact that you are not allowed to use your religious beliefs in order to deny someone a marriage certificate.
Woohoo!
As a public.
Because you don't get your marriage certificate from a priest.
Right.
They sign your marriage certificate. So
Yeah,
the
they're
person that
the
works-
ones that they're the ones that officiated over it. You have to
Yeah.
have somebody who's
The
ordained
clerk,
to.
yeah.
Yeah.
but the person who actually gives you, that same person, a city clerk or city council or, why am I
County clerk?
County
County
clerk
clerk.
can also sign your certificate, and they also issue it to you with their name on it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't
It's
pull a
not-
Ken Davis.
Yes. So it's exactly her case that brought this to the attention. She is no longer, and no one else is allowed to use their religious beliefs in order to deny someone their marriage certificate.
Good.
Yay!
So that's another win. But then there's the really
Yay.
shitty not win that happened this week too.
I'm trying to remember what it was. I know
Brexit.
I saw it. Oh, no, there was another Supreme Court decision that went
bad?
Went not good.
Oh no, there was the immigration one that went 4-4.
Yeah.
That was the other one that happened this week.
Yeah.
What are we doing to immigrants now? I've been gone for a week. The whole world fell apart.
This was Obama's initiative to allow a path for people to become citizens in the U.S. Kind of like
to become a citizens.
Yeah, it was along the lines of like what the DREAM Act was.
Okay,
but it wasn't the DREAM Act. It was allow people that don't qualify for the DREAM Act to still try to be able to become a citizen. And I think it was still along the same lines of the rules, like you can't have committed a crime or any of that kind of stuff. Be an upstanding citizen, pay all back taxes and everything, become, upright standing citizen of our country and have tons of debt and lots of taxes to pay. You would be allowed to stay in the country. I think it got voted 4-4, so it got shot down.
Huh. No es bueno.
Weird.
That's what all them immigrants say.
Yep.
No
bueno.
No es
Feliz
bueno.
Navidad.
No matter where they come from, they fucking speak Spanish. We hate them.
It's either no es bueno or a bunch of yo-yo-lating.
What?
You know that thing I mentioned earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, will you hand me a beer?
Please? I can.
I'd appreciate you.
I like how you said it just a little bit more quietly, as if will you hand me wouldn't
a beer?
be picked up.
Will you please hand me a beer? Please. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So last week we kind of started a little bit of a Donald Trump conspiracy theory thing. There were 58, I believe.
I think that's what you said.
What's
we only covered
58
one.
theories?
Yeah.
58 conspiracy theories that Donald Trump believes.
That he believes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were about Donald Trump
No.
because there's so much more.
Yeah, there's got to be way more.
You know what's really crazy is there's so many people on the left, people who purport to be, or who are purported skeptics, who are like making all kinds of weird fucking conspiracy theories surrounding Donald Trump, like he's a plant from Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
He's only running
to get Hillary voted in.
Yeah. Just really weird fucking things that
Why wouldn't it be the other way? Why wouldn't Hillary be the plant to get Trump in? I mean, that seems just as plausible.
Because that's not how it works, Matt.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because we hate Hillary Clinton.
Wrong conspiracy theory, bro.
People
but we love Trump.
Yeah. People become a lot scarier once you know how sincere they are. That's what we share in common.
They become scarier when you realize how sincere they are.
Let's analyze that for a moment.
I'm thinking about that's true. Yeah. I realized a really quick way to get my dad off the phone these days.
Talk about Hillary?
Well, so last episode I mentioned that he had given the kids, or given my kids, who are both adult age now anyway, that he had given them the Mormon trilogy, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. Told them that the Book of Mormon can be confusing, so maybe not bother with that, but they should at least read the Doctrine and Covenants. And that he was carrying on conversations with my dead sister through the carbon monoxide detector.
What?
So
series of beeps and blips.
Yeah, my
beeps
dad's
and blips were communications. Oh,
my dad. Well, apparently there's a 0 on the carbon monoxide detector
to tell you.
Is it Morse code?
And when my father talks to it, if my sister's around and talking to him, the 0 blinks.
Yeah, Morse code.
And then apparently he can interpret what she's saying.
Now maybe he's just breathing really close to it, so it's like, is it a 1? Wait, no, it's.
Well, that would be carbon dioxide.
Yeah,
I made the same mistake in talking to other people.
True.
Yeah, actually, in talking to the kids on the way home, I said something similar, and then they all pointed and laughed at me because I confused carbon monoxide and dioxide. Anyway, yeah. So my dad is fucking way out there lately, but I realized that one of the quickest ways to get him off the phone now is to mention anything surrounding atheism or the Satanic Temple, because when I was at his house, that's when the guy brought the puppy down to meet us, whatever. We got to my dad's house and I was like, I need to go to the ATM so that I can get some more cash to pay this guy when he brings the puppy. My dad's like, oh no, I've got some cash here in a fucking coffee can stuffed in the fucking cupboard.
Wait, let me get my shovel in my GPS.
How much do you need? And I'm like, Oh, I've got like 300 or 400 on me. I need another 400 for the puppy, or no, I needed another 600 for the puppy. And I was like, so, I'll just run to the ATM, no big deal. He's like, no, let me get this coffee can full of cash out of the cupboard that I have here, because I don't trust banks, apparently, or some shit like that. And so he gave me the cash. He's like, just, you can send me a check or whatever. I'm like, dude, I've had my checking account for, I don't know, 15 fucking years, and I've
checks?
written probably the same number of checks from it since I got it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'll just set up a payment to come through the bank or whatever. So that was Father's Day on Sunday. Monday I come home, Monday we do whatever shit. I don't even remember what I was doing. Monday evening I remember, I need to set up a payment for my dad. Laying in bed, I set it up through my phone, send $600 to Dan Sr. in Brigham City. The bank says it'll be 3 to 5 business days, blah, 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 whatever. Okay, great. That's taken care of. So I get a call from him on Friday. No, Saturday.
No, Sunday.
That day.
No.
Wait, what game are we playing? This is fun.
I'm old and my days run together. Forgive me.
It's one of the days, right?
Yes, it's one of the days that ends with Y.
Yes.
So Saturday I get a call from him.
I knew that was coming.
I get a call from him like early afternoonish while I was getting shit ready for the party, and he leaves a message and he's like, hi, this is your dad. I was just calling to see how the puppy's doing, blah, blah, blah. Well, actually, I was calling to see if you'd forgotten about me because I haven't gotten any money from you. And I was like, God, you're just kind of a dick. Like, my dad does this whole thing, right, where I
would have told him you put it in the coffee can.
He pretends to do things for altruistic reasons, and they're not at all. There's no altruism behind them at all. Like
what we discussed earlier.
Yeah, yeah. Like he wants people to think he's a nice guy when in fact most often he's not a nice guy. He's being a giant dick about something. So he calls and he's like, yeah, I want to call in to see how the puppy's doing. Well, actually, I was just wondering if you'd forgotten about me because I haven't gotten any money from you. I was like, God damn it. So I go out, log into my bank account, see that it's, posted to my account the day before. So he should have had it like Friday or Saturday, and clearly he hadn't, whatever. So he should have had it by today. So get everything ready for the party, head to the party. We're doing the party, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I gotta call him back. So in the middle of the party, I walked outside, and I'm calling my dad, and I'm like, oh, yeah, hey, I got your message, returning your call to let you know the puppy's fine and doing great. Thanks for asking. And also, yes, I didn't forget about you. I requested this be sent out. It's going to take 3 to 5 business days according to the website. Cleared my account yesterday. I'm surprised you didn't have it then. Really surprised you didn't have it today. If you don't have it by Monday, let me know. Of course, I haven't heard anything today to see how the puppy's doing, so he must have gotten his money. Yeah, he doesn't do anything for purely altruistic reasons or because he's a genuinely nice guy. It's, where's my money, or I want somebody else to think that I'm a nice guy.
Yep.
Or I'm taking your puppy.
Yeah. We got some more newsies?
Oh, I thought we were going to do a Donald Trump conspiracy theory.
Oh, sure. Yeah, fuck, I got totally sidetracked. We talked about the conspiracy. So the next one up on our list is that Bill Ayers wrote Dreams from My Father, which is the book purportedly written by President Barack Hussein Obama. Donald Trump has embraced the far-right conspiracy theory, which initially started as a joke that Obama didn't write his book Dreams from My Father. In a 2012 Fox News appearance, he explained, quote, he had a book, whether he wrote the book or not, but that book pushed him very hard and very strongly. And then they get into who really penned that book. It will be an interesting question for people to figure out. I don't believe it. I think somebody else had a lot to do with the book. I think he wrote the second book, which was certainly not a masterpiece. I'm very good at books, and it certainly wasn't a masterpiece. So, Donald Trump does not believe that POTUS wrote Dreams from My Father. He thinks that Bill Ayers wrote the book. Bill Ayers wrote the book, Trump said in 2011, explaining that Barack Obama wouldn't be president if it weren't for the super genius Ayers. Wow. A lot of people have said he wrote the book. Now it's coming out that Bill Ayers wrote it. I'm not saying this, I'm hearing it from other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Clearly it's one of those things that he told
got the
Laura
best
Ingraham.
people. Got the best people.
Yeah.
What's the best tinfoil?
So Sunday I watch my news programs.
Yeah.
Here you go. I was watching.
Hey, I'll decide.
And I can't remember which one of the two programs that I watch on Sunday it was, but they played this little clip of Hillary Clinton talking about Donald Trump. She's like, well, he says he's this great businessman, and he's written, a lot of different books on business, but they all end with chapter 11.
That's a good one.
I thought that was very, very good.
If you have questions, comments, concerns, compliments, corrections, or concepts for content, contact the show via email at godlessrebelution@gmail.com, by text or voicemail at 330-81-REBEL, or Twitter the twatter at TGI Podcast. Thanks, bitches.
So, did you happen to see the protester in Scotland that got Trump at his golf course?
No.
Yes.
Oh. What was the protester doing?
She had a sign, and
no, not this one. This was a dude I'm talking about.
Oh, no, okay.
So wait, we got two stories going on.
I want to hear both of them.
I'll look up the chick on my Sears stone. You look up the other one.
So there's this British comedian that's he does a whole bunch of things. He did one with Volkswagen with their emissions thing, like climbing underneath the car, trying to fuck with it to fix their emissions when that whole thing came out. He threw money all over the FIFA guys when their whole thing came out. He does all these big, lavish press things. So when Trump was opening up his golf course there in Scotland the other day, he showed up with free golf balls for everybody.
Huh.
These golf balls were red with a white circle, and inside that white circle was a swastika.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh.
So he came out as Trump was taking the podium, claiming to be a representative from the golf course and saying, going to the press corps, and started handing out, saying, here's
Turnberry would like to hand you these free golf balls
in commemoration of the golf course opening today.
That's fantastic.
He got swiftly escorted out of there.
Yeah.
And as he was being escorted out, someone in the audience or someone in the crowd yells, "Cut your hair and get a job." My thought is, this is the guy's job.
Yeah.
Was he talking to Trump or?
Oh, that's true. He could have been talking to Trump.
Trump's trying to get a job.
But
trying to get a job and needs to cut his hair.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty funny and pretty poignant.
Huh.
And there was actually a whole documentary on that golf course.
On Turnberry?
Yes.
What was the documentary about?
On how the fact that everybody that lived there did not want him to fucking build a golf course there.
Oh, all the people on the island?
Yeah, because he bought that land. People are like, this is like our pastures and our beautiful countryside, and you want to rip it up to build a golf course that only really rich fucking people can go golf at and close it off to everybody that lives here.
But it's going to be so amazing and beautiful. It's going to be a wonderful course. It's going to be amazing. That I can tell you.
I talked to my dad the other day, and he was like, yeah, but he kind of did him a favor the way I see it. I mean, like, it was about to go bankrupt, and he came in and helped him out, and blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God, my dad's turning Trump. He's gonna support Trump. I'm like, what the
They've been building this golf course for a long time.
Yeah. No, I know. He doesn't know anything.
I'm really surprised. My dad is not a Trump supporter, and that really surprised me.
Yeah, that surprises me from what I know.
Yeah.
It's valid. It's
Right,
a valid
it's not. I mean, it's not really a story, but it's a protester, and she has a sign on it that says "Trump is a cunt," and I just thought that was really funny.
Just standing out there.
Yeah, she's just standing out there with the sign.
She just follow him everywhere.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
She speaks the truth.
Nice.
Yeah.
He is
She
kind of a
speaks
cunt.
to me.
But the other thing Donald Trump did take time to do. Oh, you can continue.
I was going to
cut
say
you off.
I would say he's a cunt, but he doesn't deserve the.
He lacks both the depth and the warmth of a cunt.
Yes, he doesn't deserve to be associated with my anatomy.
But Trump also did take the time to comment on the whole Brexit, Brexit issue with them voting to leave the union.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Does anyone else think that's like a Utah Valley teenage, unwedded mother name?
Yeah,
Oh, it's going to be.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be
huge.
Yeah, it's the first thing.
It's gonna
First
be
thing I thought
huge.
when I heard that, I was
That's
like,
a Utah name.
Yeah, that's totally a Utah name.
But when he was giving
It's
his
going to be the next Palin kid as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah.
no one Brexit Palin on that one. That was a bad joke. But when he was giving his whole speech about opening the golf course and he started talking on them leaving the union, he was saying how good it was for them to leave the union, saying, no, look, the dollar's dropping here, and that's good because people are going to come and vacation here more. They can afford it. It's like, what? Did you just say it's a good thing that their money's being devalued now?
He said
so
a lot
people
of
can
things,
go visit there now since they can afford it, but
Yeah,
nobody
the
that
pound
lives
is
there
falling, and that's going to be good for me. Yeah.
Yeah, but nobody that lives there is going to be good for. It's like, that's fucking the whole country. But you're glad that tourists will have a place to go to and spend their money at because their American dollars are worth so much more now. More there now.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Dow has dropped more than 800 points
Yeah.
in 2 days, more than 5%. Yeah. Global economies are starting to spiral down.
Yeah.
People that voted for it actually had to Google it after it happened.
Yeah.
It was the most amazing thing. These people voted to leave and they didn't know what the fuck they're voting to leave.
Yeah.
But I did love the comments from people that said, yeah, this is a race issue. Because the people that voted to leave are straight up racist.
A lot of them. I saw a tweet that listed like the voting, the voting ages of those who wanted to stay, those who voted to leave, and they were asking basically, is this a democratic system? Because, people from, 18 to 24, some really high number of them voted to stay, and it was this scale of the older you went, the more you voted to leave, and then it showed on the other side, the people who voted to stay were disregarded, and the number of years, it looked at it looked at life expectancy for these different age groups. All of them were right near 90 years old.
Oh, wow.
And so when you look at the life expectancy of these people who voted to stay versus those who voted to leave, the people who voted to leave, which is what ultimately happened, they'll have to deal with this for a very limited amount of time versus the 60 plus years that the people who wanted to stay will have to deal with.
Yeah, I think it was 69 years to 16 at the bottom was going to be the difference. Yeah, the people who didn't want it would have to deal with it for 69 years, and the people who wanted it will only get to have to deal with it for...
They'll get to enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy it.
for that amount of time.
Well, and the reason why they said it was...
It's the boomers again.
Yeah. And the reason why I said it was racist because of the immigration issue. Because just like in the United States, if you come here and say New York's like, yes, we will take in 2,000 immigrants this year. Well, that doesn't mean they got to stay in New York. They can travel anywhere within the United States they want to. So if France or the UN decides...
Except to the south.
Well, true, they get shot there. So if the UN says, hey, we want to take in these many people, and they'll come into France or, Belgium or whatever, doesn't mean they're going to stay there. They can go anywhere within the UN they want. And the people in Great Britain were like, fuck that. We don't want these terrorists or these brown people coming in here. We want to keep them out of here. So if we leave the UN, I guess not UN. If we leave the EU, the European Union, they can't come here.
Well, and I've heard that Boris Johnson is or Bojo, as the two skeptical chaps refer to him, is being compared as being a more eloquent Donald Trump.
Trump. Yeah. Bojo was also born in New York.
Was he?
Was he born in New York? I knew that he was educated in the U.S.
Yep, he was.
Born in New York.
Yep.
And he's got a similar hairdo.
Yeah.
Did they have the same mom?
No.
Dad?
No.
Is that a question?
Bojo's a bastard from the South who's also a dragon rider. Winter has now come.
I don't watch.
Which led to the Brexit.
I don't watch Game of Thrones.
Never mind then.
Yeah, I don't either.
Even if you don't, you know what the reference is.
I knew the references, but I don't have HBO.
I try. That show has too many realms to keep track of.
Do you try reading the books?
Really?
It's like the show. It's like the show times 10.
Was that a good?
I hear it's much more difficult just because of the number of characters.
Yes, there are so many more characters. There's so much more going on, and so when I was reading the series, I actually had to keep a piece of paper with me, and I had to write down who people were because I couldn't ever keep it straight. So, I mean, it's worth it. It's incredible. It's a wonderful series, and I'm actually even with the changes that they've made to the TV show. I like it. It's like experiencing a whole new realm, but it's like with people who got Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, they bitch about it, but it's like you got to see the Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit,
come to life.
Yeah, come to life in real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, that's how I see Game of Thrones. There was really super solid in the first season, and they kind of go in and out, but this last one, holy shit.
Wow. The last 2 episodes, really. Like the one before the season finale and then the season finale.
Well, because the season finales, a lot of the times it's like that. It's like that. You almost get to that climax, but then you lose interest, and so you're just kind of left with that for a little bit until you get a good one in. That's how there usually are, but this one, like, wow, full blast, man. Yeah. Outer space.
Yeah, the last 2 episodes, I was like, oh my god,
like, holy shit! They weren't fucking around.
Well, no, there might not be any more though.
No, they've got 2 more seasons.
No, but there might be low budget now.
What? Why?
Because of the whole EU breakup. Because they filmed these shows in Britain and they were getting funding from the EU to do it.
Yeah, they'll have to. Dude, they're somebody will throw so much money at them.
Yeah, they're going to have to get money from a different source, or they're going to cut the budget a little bit.
Wide-ranging consequences.
Yes.
Which sucks because considering how they ended it this season, there's going to be a lot more CGI needed for the next 2.
And that's not cheap.
Yeah. It's not, but someone will fund it. They won't go without. It's too. It's too.
Bill Gates will do it.
HBO would just fund it by themselves.
Yeah, they
probably should. They're making enough money on it.
Success, yeah. It's huge success.
Exactly. It's a money hog for them, so it'll be fine.
It's made HBO great again. That I can tell you.
It's been good.
That and Vice.
Yeah.
I like Vice a lot.
I do too. Most of their episodes. There have been a couple that I'm like.
There have been a few, yeah.
The one they did on GMOs, I was like, they let Bill Maher be the producer.
Oh,
yeah, and I'm so love-hate with Bill because it's always just down the line. It's just like, oh, I love this. Oh, you're against vaccines,
and then you're pouring fucking bullshit straight out of your mouth.
I just don't like him. I know, like a lot of people are like...
He's very hit and miss with me. I'm a fan, but he's still very hit and miss with me.
The thing for me is that, I mean, I know a lot of people do like some of the stuff he says. I can get what he says in the, about whatever it is that I agree with from somebody else who doesn't also add that stupid fucking bullshit that's not true.
I
just don't even watch him.
I love him as a comedian because that's how he started. He started as a stand-up comedian. I actually saw him at Abravanel Hall a few years ago doing stand-up, and like he's wonderful. He's absolutely wonderful. So I'm like, stick with that. Yeah, you're really good at that. Like he's really good.
I did like Religulous.
I did too. Yeah. I watched that quite a few times. Yeah, I liked it a lot. He did really well.
Yeah, I saw him the last time he came through town at Abravanel.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
But for the vaccine thing, though, Penn and Teller's bullshit. Their episode on vaccine is good.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that one. I'll have to.
It's a good one.
Pretty much all those episodes are good.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job. But with the vaccine one, you know how they always break numbers down, like with some really good visual aids. They do the whole with the people and breaking down the numbers and stuff and breaking all the bullshit down. And of course, they always bring the person on who is a anti-vaxxer.
Of course.
And make fucking fun of them.
Mercilessly,
Yeah, they always cling to that one paper, that one guy who said they were linked, and they don't even take into account that it's been so heavily
single study focus,
Well, yeah, and he lost his license over it because he manipulated the data and he lied through his teeth. And there's actually a documentary released recently about him, and now I'm spacing on her name. She's just brilliant documentarian, and she released a documentary about him recently. So anyways, there's one about that. You'll see one coming out about him, and it's just all about that whole study and how full of shit it is and how it's affected the fact that we now, just all the diseases that we tried eradicating and we were absolutely there, and now they're coming back because, like I can't. I'm glad I don't have kids because I don't want to worry about that at all. Just like having my kid go into there because they don't realize that herd immunity. Yeah, it works if everyone else is immunized because you have they don't think about the fact that there are some children who just can't. Like they're super sick. They have immune disorders, cancers. Like these kids who are already they can't do it, and so they rely on everyone else to get their shit and their shit together. And
yeah, I mean, even with the flu vaccine, sure, the flu vaccine doesn't prevent you from getting the flu 100% of the time.
Yeah, but and
it's no big deal for me personally. If I get the flu, I don't get the flu vaccine to protect myself necessarily from getting the flu. I get it to protect other people who may get the flu. I get it to protect young children and old people and people with compromised
Immune
systems
systems,
who
yeah.
can't get the flu shot, so that I'm not a carrier of the flu and happen to pass it on to them and they fucking die.
Yeah, I mean and they don't get it. Oh, it's got arsenic in it. It's got this, so it's just like
it's not 100% effective.
Mercury,
Why bother?
blah, blah, blah.
You don't need it if you're in this age range. Sure, I don't need it. It's not necessary.
But what if you have? Yeah,
it's not
so
something that is going to make sure that I don't die necessarily, but it may help somebody else to not die.
Everyone else, yeah. I mean, I haven't gotten the flu in years, but that doesn't. I'm not going to say like, well, I haven't been sick in a long time and I'm fairly healthy, so I won't get it. No, dude, I'm getting shot up. I don't care.
I haven't had the measles, and I'm pretty sure that I could live through it if I got it, so I'm not going to get immunized.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they still do that. They still do the. It's not the measles. The
mumps, rubella, whooping cough.
Smallpox.
Smallpox?
Not smallpox. Not the smallpox.
I got smallpox vaccine.
Yeah.
But it's only because I was going to foreign countries.
Yeah.
Otherwise, normally people don't get it anymore.
Yeah. Chickenpox. That's what I'm thinking of. Right. Not smallpox. What the fuck am I talking about?
Yeah, smallpox is way deadlier than chickenpox.
The second I said it, I'm like, that's not right. No, chickenpox. They used to have the chickenpox parties where, one kid gets sick and then you get all your kids together so they all get sick because you once you get sick, you build that,
immunity.
The white blood cells to do that.
Or you just want them to get over it. Like, just get it.
That or that or it's just the non-coat hanger way to solve your problems.
Oh.
Oh, we'll miss little Johnny.
Oh, damn. Oh, what a shame.
Shouldn't have left him in the car.
Be nice if our last memories of him weren't of him just covered in bumps and being miserable, but such is life. C'est la vie.
Yep. Now let's go to Hawaii.
Now we can afford a vacation.
Think about the money we'll be saving now.
Yeah.
No more college fund to worry about.
Oh, man, our marriage is saved.
Well, thank you very, very much for coming out and hanging out with us tonight.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
So where can people learn more about the Salt Lake chapter of the Satanic Temple?
So we have our website, thesatanictempleutah.com, but we also are very active on our Facebook page, which you just look up the Satanic Temple /Utah chapter. And again, we do have our unbaptism event going on. It's on Sunday, July 24th, at the Metro Bar. It doors at 6. Ceremony starts at 7, and it's for everybody.
That's
you don't
early
have to...
for an unbaptism.
Well, it's
PM, I assume.
It's yes, sorry, PM. I was just like, not really. No, so 7 PM. It's for everybody. So it's not for just Satanists or anything like that. Like we're having the event, we're having the party for anybody who wants to come. So come party with us, come talk to your local Satanist and come see a really cool ritual and have fun. So yeah.
Anything else you want to plug anywhere anybody should look for? Any more details about the Satanic Temple? How they can get more involved locally?
Well, locally, if you want to be involved, if you have any questions for us, you can contact us on our local Utah chapter page, just via Facebook, or we have our Gmail account. So you do the Satanic Temple Utah at gmail.com. Any inquiries you have, you can just send them to us. As far as national, we have all the national campaigns. We still have the reproductive rights campaign going on. Gray Faction, I would highly, highly, highly encourage people to go to grayfaction.org or .com. It's .org. And, look that up, see what they're doing. It's really important work and it's really gonna help people. So, we have that and, currently we're working on our first big national, all chapters campaign. So keep an eye out for that. It's gonna be pretty awesome. It's all chapters together doing one big, campaign and, yeah, that's about it. So keep an eye out for everybody and, share the news and come talk to us. We're really nice, right? Right, guys? Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I love the work the Satanic Temple does, for sure. But thanks again so much for joining us tonight. You've been a delightful guest. Welcome back anytime. Anytime you want to promote anything, just shoot the breeze, chit chat, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah,
we'd be delighted to have you back.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'd be delighted to come back.
Yay!
Yay!
All right. Well, thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. We will chat at you next week. Bye.
believing one God do we. Satan Almighty, the uncreator of heaven and soul, and the invisible and the visible. And in the Son begotten of Father, by whom all things will be unmade. Who for man and his damnation incarnated, rise up from hell, from sitteth on the left hand of his Father. From thence he shall come to judge. Out of one substance with Satan, whose kingdom shall have no end. Hear us Satan prayer, our anti-Nicene creed. Hear us Satan prayer, for the coming of seed. Hear us Satan prayer, our anti-Nicene creed. Hear our Satan prayer, for the coming of seed.
Yeah, I'm good. I gotta get ready for stuff.
It's good, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
I'm sorry your day was shit, hon. That sucks.
I gotta go. Bye.
Dude, I'm sorry, man.
What?
For the way I opened that. So that like, the joke was there, and I said it.
No,
as the night was going on, it kept coming back, and I'm like, God damn.
I don't think we reamed him hard enough about that. Yeah, if you just edited
like right at first I was like, oh, there's a joke, bam, and then you guys were like kind of moaning but kind of laughing, and I'm like, okay, and then when it came back around and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna wear that for a while, and I'm like, oh,
you're like, oh man.
No, dude, I fuck
like,
no.
Yeah.
No, I know. But